So I thought to give a try on this film that everyone's been talking about, mainly through Empire and Total. It's called Shorta, or otherwise known by its US title, Enforcement. It's essentially very similar to a lot of episodes of The Wire, mixed with John Carpenter influences, which I know they mentioned on a few quotes, like particularly Assault on Precinct 13 and Escape from New York, The Warriors, and that Les Miserables film that also came out last year that I was a big fan of. It was my favourite foreign language film of that year. Unfortunately, Shorta does not quite meet those expectations, at least from my end, but definitely had some gripping moments, particularly as it dealt with the racist cop with the beard versus the one who was a bit more straight-laced trying to just do his job. It was very much similar to the sort of dynamics between the trio that was depicted in Les Miserables, film by Laj Lee. It definitely touches on a lot of issues that are very important right now. I know with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and it hasn't ended yet. It's still there. Andrew Brown is another case example just recently, and Rayshard Brooks, Adama Touré in France. You know, minorities being targeted, killed by police and law enforcement for perceived perceptions that they might be dangerous. I know this has been very controversial stuff, especially since last year. So this film might certainly inflame a few attitudes and ideas that, it's very tough material, needless to say. But the way it was executed in this film almost made it seem a little too clean. Like, he turns a little bit nice. He, tries not to become a little less racist. The, character with the beard. It's a little difficult to remember names at this point. My apologies, but for the most part, I think if the script had an element of, you try to root for this guy, but at the same time, he's a lost cause in the way that the police officers, spoiler alert, get off at the end as if like nothing ever happened, as well as the Arab kid that they accompany with them doing this whole sort of protest and riot that's going on in the streets in this fake town that's very much sort of like a weird mix between Aarhus and Copenhagen, or Copenhagen for the English speakers. Denmark's done some pretty good films. I know they just won the Best Foreign Film Oscar for Another Round, or Druk, and they also done another film that I was a fan of called Harpijärgården Fisk and Tarnat and Talka in Neber, which I thought were pretty good. But those were, certainly a lot more light-hearted works. And I didn't see Druk or Another Round. That didn't interest me as much as Shorta did. And needless to say, Shorta has its moments, but it doesn't quite reach those heights. And I'm afraid to say it might not be making as top of the list as, I'd say, Judas and the Black Messiah, if you're talking about films that deal with policing and racism, those sort of issues. So there you have it. This is Skinny Ebert signing off. Until next time, feel free to keep on watching and stay safe, even if you're vaccinated.